All right, we're fixing to rock and roll here. We're on board. Rear-facing camera of Eric Grimm in the RC8. A little bit of static, but here we go. And Grimm gets a great start, and hasta la vista, baby. Eric Grimm is gone. We switch from the onboard to the first turn camera. And it's going to be Grimm. Looks like a battle for second and third here, and fourth as it shakes out. Grimm out front and jetting. Oh, it looks like we got a bike off course here. Ryder is up. Ryder is up and heading back to his bike. Should be good there. Grimm out front here. Got about 10 bike lengths and pulling away. Ryder, who's down, is back up. He's on the bike, and looks like the bike is rolling. We're going to see here. So as we're back on board with Eric Grimm, as he is gapping the field and absolutely walking away here with this combined GTO class, we'll try to get you a number on who's in second and third. It looks like Peterick is in third. Number 41 is in second. Number 65 is in fourth. Number 41, Tyler Smith. So it looks like Grimm, Smith. Followed by Marshall Miller, Peterson, Peterick. And then Perkins, number 123, Hayden Villarreal, seventh. So Grimm walking away with this one from Tyler Smith. Marshall Miller battling with Peterson. And if they're not careful, they're going to have some company from Peterick here in just a minute, because Peterick is just on the gas no matter what class he's racing on the track. He's always just pushing it, pushing it. So as we cycle through here, as we're looking deep out, trying to cycle through our cameras, get a good view here. As we're back on board with Eric Grimm, and there is absolutely nobody even close. As you can see him dropping into Triple D. There's not a soul behind him, and he is absolutely cooking it with our Ignite onboard cameras here as he heads into 8 and 9. Tyler Smith trying to run him down, but he's Gab Smith from the last time they came around, as you're still on board with Grimm and our Ignite Media onboard cameras here. Looks like Miller, Peterson, and Peterick are going to battle it out for third, fourth, and fifth. And like I said, just seeing how Peterick has raced the last two rounds, he might get these two guys here within the next couple of laps, as he is closing on Peterson now. Peterick breaking late into the corner, going to try to get around Peterson. Still out front, Grimm, Smith, Miller, Peterson, Peterick goes wide. Going to try to get around Peterson here, as it's a drag race down the straightaway. Peterick trying to make a move as we switch here. And as it go into turn 3, it looks like Peterson's gotten around Smith. And there's the battle here. Peterick all over Peterson as they head down the backstretch. Got a little confused there with our camera views. Peterick trying to outbreak Peterson, heading into 5. Grimm still way out front, ahead of Smith. And it's Miller and Peterick that are battling here, because your running order is Grimm, Smith, Peterson, Miller, Peterick, Perkins, Villarreal, Andrade, DeJong. Grimm still flat laying it down out here, pulling and gapping Smith a tad more. Peterson trying to catch up with Smith. Miller, Peterson, and Peterick going at it. Peterick making a move on Peterson. Peterson shuts him down. Peterick checks up. And Peterson doesn't even know what's going on behind him. as Miller and Peterick are going, Miller and Peterick are going at it. Peterick trying to dive in, trying to make a move here. See if he cuts to the inside. No, he goes outside. Peterick outside, trying to get around Peterson. He's going to hang right on his tail. Looks like another lap. Peterick might have Peterson here as they blast by the start-finish line. As we cycle through the cameras here, you've got Grimm heading down the backstretch as we cycle back to second place, which is Tyler Smith. Then Peterson coming around 3. Then you're going to have Miller and Peterick in close proximity. Yeah, Peterick and Miller are. Peterick all over the back of Miller, see if he can get by him back down the backstretch here. Close enough to make a move. And then Miller just walks away. Holy smokes. Your running order: Grimm, Smith, Peterson, Miller, Peterick, Perkins, Villarreal, Andrade, DeJong. Grimm out front and gone. That RCH just pumping out horsepower, man. Holy smokes. Absolutely smoking. As we're on board with Grimm as he's fixing to drop into turn 10. The guy keeps telling me he's slow. Doesn't look slow today because nobody's going to get him unless he checks up or has a bike issue. It is not happening. Peterick and Miller are still going at it. Miller again shuts down Peterick. In the same turn, Peterick keeps it close. We'll see if Peterick can dive to the inside here. Not going to happen. But he closes in, hops to the inside. Let's see if he goes inside or outside. Carries the speed, but still it's the same distance as it was a lap ago. As Miller and Peterick really the only battle on the track right now. Peter trying to keep it close. Peter goes a little wide and then tucks in. Looks like the only spot on the track where Peterick is catching Miller is going into turn 3 and then coming out of Triple D going into turn 8. Other than that, Miller's got Peterick covered pretty much all around this track. Yeah, we're back on board with, we were for a split second. Miller pulled on Peterick here. And unless something happens, he is gapping Peterick as they head down the backstretch as we are back on board with Perkins, number 123 here, running 6. Did get his onboard camera up and running, and it's looking good. Grimm still out front, starting to catch Villarreal on the Harley. V-twin against V-twin. So as Grimm comes out of turn 10, looks like we're about halfway here. Grimm hammer down. Still a pretty good gap back to Smith. An even bigger gap back to Peterson. Miller and Peterick seem to have stopped playing. And Miller has put the hammer down and gapped Peterick as they head into turn 10.
So it looks like Miller's decided he wants that position over Peterick.
So things starting to space out here in this combined GTO class.
Locked up here. He continues doing what he's doing, holding the status quo in this order. They're about evenly spaced out.
So as we cycle back here, camera on Eric Grimm, that RCA thundering around, turn 6, blasting into Triple D.
Looks like the white flag, I spoke prematurely, has not come out. It'll be coming out for our race leader here in mere moments as he is now going into turn 8 on that KTM RC8R.
Grimm firmly out front, running a 136.7 for the last lap. His best lap this race, 135.3. Tyler Smith's best, 136.6. Peterson, 140.9. Miller, 140.3. Peterick, 140.7. No real battles right now as we see Grimm coming around and taking the white flag. 1 lap to go here in the combined GTO class. Grimm firmly has this one in hand. Tyler Smith in second, doing his best to catch, but it's just not happening. Miller has pulled Peterick and is closing on Peterson, that might be the battle to watch here on this last lap as Miller is closing on Peterson here. As they head in to turn 10, we'll see here. They've dropped Peterick, and we'll see if Miller can get around Peterson here on this last lap, as that's the only battle going on out there in this race. Miller full tuck. Miller drives down into the first turn. We're going to see who's going to come out of the first turn. And it's still Peterson and Miller, but Miller is in striking distance, and he might make this happen here on this last lap. Miller's keeping the handle down. Miller heads into 3, and he's close. See if that R1 can ham-fist it, crank it up, and get it done as they come down the backstretch. Miller's closing. And it looks like we may have a battle here coming down the last couple of turns as Miller is all over Peterson. Within about 3 bikes, Miller is Peterson. I think Peterson knows he's there now, so he's absolutely out front. Grimm comes around turn 10 and takes the checkered. He's not going to be touched. Tyler Smith heading into turn 10 now is going to take second. And the battle is on as Peterson and Miller head into Triple D. Peterson out front. Miller trying to make something happen. Miller trying to close here, going into turn 8. Miller gets it within a bike length. We'll see. Oh, Miller keeps it on just a little longer. We're going to see if he's going to drop in. Miller's going to go outside, which is going to put him on the inside, heading into turn 10. They're within a bike length. Miller gets on it coming out. Don't think it's going to happen. Peterson breaks early. Miller breaks late. We're going to see. And it's not going to happen. It's going to be Peterson and Miller. Miller shoots wide coming out and hammer down, but Peterson gets him by a bike. Peterson, Miller, Peterick coming around 10, taking the flag now. Holy smokes. That was a good race.
So that concludes race 8, combined GTO. My Preferida sponsored that race. Again, the Latino.
So your finishing order for the combined GTO is going to be Eric Graham with a race win, dominating start to finish. Tyler Smith, second. Peterson, third. Fourth, Marshall Miller. Fifth, James Peterick. Sixth, Ted Perkins. Seventh, Hayden Villarreal. Eighth, Albert Andrade. And ninth, didn't see him out there. DeJong, don't think DeJong started, but he'll take home ninth.